Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we talk a little bit about anime. We watch anime throughout the week with you guys, and this is our first episode where we're going to be talking about Zombie Land Saga. Zombie Land Saga was my suggestion, and if you would like to suggest an anime for the coming weeks or whatever, how we're going to keep doing this, if you'd like to suggest an anime for us to possibly watch and add it to the chest of infinite animes, go ahead and leave us 500 bits in the live Twitch chat and give us your suggestion. We already have a ton of them. I think I have an updated list here. This might be updated for the most part. There's still Zombieland Saga on it,
Yeah,
but this is our updated list so far. And this has been suggested by me, by y'all, and of course, my co host, as always, Matt Galley. Matt, I am excited because I'm excited to talk about this Zombieland Saga. How are you feeling?
I am very like I was just telling you just a bit before we started, like I kind of had no idea what to expect walking into this. The trailer that we watched kind of was like a little bit all over the place, not
Yeah.
in a bad way, but it was like just very intriguing where it's like I don't know what exactly I'm getting myself into, but I'm here for the ride. And so far that's what it's felt like. It's felt like a ride. And it's just like I'm just enjoying it. I'm just along for a good time.
Um,
And I feel like that's how all the girls in the show feel too at this point.
they're just along for the ride because they've been resurrected for I don't know. They're zombies. How?
Yeah,
I don't know. They're just zombies. But
yeah.
what we do here, if you don't know, it's like a book club, but with anime, it's like an anime club. So if you would like to enjoy new anime with us, that's kind of what we do. And we've watched quite a bit of stuff. Let's actually take a look at some of the stuff that we have watched and how we graded it. Because this on the left is mine, on the right is Matt's. We've both graded Black Clover. We watched the first whole arc of Black Clover, Gotcham Crowds, and we watched recently Psycho Pass. So
Psychopaths.
Psycho Pass was the only one that we've had a disagreement on where to place
So
these for
far.
now. But yeah, those are the three anime arcs that we've been through, and I hope you've been watching along. And I really hope that you've been watching along with Zombieland Saga. And I'm super happy because, like, did you think I didn't think we would be able I don't know, when I had this idea and when we started doing it, our I think our hope was that people would do the thing we're telling them to do, which is watch along. But
Mhm,
especially with this one, it's just felt different because probably because this is so much more fun. Like this is a
mhm.
fun anime, and it feels like everybody that we talk to with is just having fun with this so far. So like how I don't know, how do you feel about like people
Well,
are
sh
actually doing the thing?
yeah, I mean, it's really nice that, everybody's been able to chime in on the conversation with things as we go along, and I think out of all of our picks so far, this is the anime that the most people out of the audience have already seen walking into it beforehand, even though you and I haven't.
Mm,
Um, it's been it's been really fun to be able to talk about it with everybody,
yeah.
and I can't wait to see how everybody feels about this one.
So again, yeah, if you want to suggest anything, 500 bits in the live chat. If you're watching it later on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple, thank you for checking it out. But we usually do this on Thursdays or so. Let's get into it because I've been waiting all week. Zombieland Saga, we're starting off.
Episode
This
1.
is episode one. So how does episode one start, Matt?
Episode 1, introducing us to this world, Good Morning Saga, episode 1. We see, this young girl, Sakura, who, upon leaving to school, is struck by a truck and dies. She awakes in a mansion, surrounded by zombies and flees. Finding help, a police officer has a negative reaction to her, and after seeing her reflection on a nearby, like, a cap, she discovers that she too has been zombified. Kotaro, the man who takes responsibility for this new situation she finds herself in, explains her dying beforehand and explains his plans to use her and the rest of these zombies in this like underground part of the mansion that he's gathered them in to create an idol group, like a singing, dancing pop idol group. and they go to Sakura is basically the only one that is conscious, and he throws her in the mix and says, hey, this is your job, this is your responsibility to make sure things go well. And he throws them into like a death metal show, essentially, where she's very skeptical because how would idols perform at death metal? But since they're all zombies, they just start screaming and headbanging, and the crowd absolutely loves it. And she does a stage dive and finds herself kind of being completely taken like and sold on this concept. She feels like she's like flying. It
Yeah.
seems like that's like her in that moment where it just captures her as she stage diving.
Where to begin if not the beginning? Because I've seen this GIF. I don't even know how long ago, how many times I've seen it, but in the beginning GIF of her running out, and you still see her running, and just the truck instantly overtaking her.
Mhm.
Did you know that was gonna happen? Because I totally didn't think that was the gift. Because I don't know if it was CZ or somebody was like, I think I put this under my suggestions and it was in my watch list because it was like, know where the memes come from. And I was like, oh, this is a meme anime. Whatever. Okay. And then I was like, oh, this is where that's from. Did you know this was gonna happen? Did it caught you off
That
guard?
caught me off guard. I mean Zombie Land Saga and stuff, so I knew something was gonna happen, but like it kind of feels like you're getting, N media resed, and then it's just like, oh nope, we're
Yeah.
switching it up on a dime and
Yeah.
unaliving the main character.
Kaylee says, honestly, my favorite thing about the show is how it immediately subverts expectations.
Yeah.
I loved how much they were laying it on within like the first minute or so. They're like, I love my life. I'm doing this. I'm gonna be a part of I love idols. And I was like, okay, I instantly got a grasp of Sakura, and I instantly figured out, like, I mean, these are the most in-depth characters. It's
No.
okay. It's silly. It's goofy. It doesn't have to be fun. It doesn't have to be Psychopaths.
And
Because
yeah,
last anime we had Psychopaths, which is super in depth. Each character has huge motivations and all these interworkings with all these different
relationships and
character
stuff. Yeah.
relationships. Yeah, like the different situations that they're in. And this one's just like, I like idols. I
Hmm.
like this. I have a good life. I'm going to school. I'm gonna go to class. Blah blah blah. Gets
And
hit by a truck.
yeah, and every time the show kind of like pokes at the hey, plot, hey, explanations, exposition, the Kotaro basically just goes, "Haven't you seen a zombie movie before?
Yeah.
Go there you go."
Yeah. It was this episode, right? Where they're like,
Yeah,
how do we become zombies? He's like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
and then
and
you're
then you're
zombies.
zombies.
Yeah. And I like that because
So
it's
silly.
like honestly with the concept of this show, how they became zombies, it doesn't matter. It
Doesn't
shouldn't really be
matter.
taking precedence, whether it's Walking Dead rules or the 40 Days Later rules, whatever. Rage virus.
Mm,
Who cares?
yeah.
They're zombies. They're unconscious at first, and something can happen to snap them into consciousness.
Which is wild, which is a wild thought. Um, so Sakura is zombie number one, and we meet Tatsumi Kotaro, who has. How do we feel? Okay, well, actually, first, let me take a step back. We get the whole, hitting with the truck and all this stuff, and then it like integrates the intro. Like, I think each episode it kind of like goes into the intro song and stuff. And like, I love that. I love that Sakura's still talking through it. Like, she's still like, hey, we're gonna do this. It's kind of like a little kind of like her idol moment where she's like,
Hmm.
hey, this is I'm dead now, but whatever. And then on each episode it changes a little bit and then they launch into the intro. So how do you feel
Yep.
about the intro song? And then might as well just talk about the ending song
Hmm.
as well. So how do you feel about those?
Intro song, very like high energy. It's I feel like it matches the tone of the show perfectly, and I also just really think it's a good song. Like it's very
Yeah,
enjoyable to listen to. It's got me like bopping my head, nodding.
but the animation
Of the
you
intro is amazing.
is
I love it.
amazing.
And
for sure.
I love the whole like concept of them taking this idol group, and it's like, oh, here's a bunch of different like promotional media they could be in, like, oh, they could be a bunch of Power Rangers fighting kaiju and stuff. And it's like, I love that. Like
Yeah.
it's just having fun.
But I'm saying that if you don't know what this is and you watch just the intro, you still don't know what it is
Yep.
because it's everything, because it's so silly. And I love that there's like not a second so far. I've only watched episode 1 through 4 that they're taking themselves like super seriously.
Hmm.
A
Yeah,
lot of this
even
stuff,
the horror sequences are taken with like a comedic tone.
yeah. A
It's
lot of
never supposed to be scary.
Yeah, a lot. I found myself in quite a bit in these first 4 episodes, literally laughing. Like,
Yeah,
it really take me by surprise, like, especially in this first episode, Kotaro, the way that he talks, I
yeah.
can feel like the voice actor is having so much fun. I feel like
And
they were just like, "Go, do whatever. Figure it out."
and it's absolutely crazy to see the juxtaposition of this voice actor playing this part when we have seen them in a previous anime hour we explored in Gotchaman Crowds, where they were playing the primary antagonist Berg. They're just taunting the cast the whole time, and it almost feels like that's what Kotaro is doing to the girls. He's like, he's brought them back and he wants to make this idol group, but it's like it's always at their expense.
Yeah, for sure. And CZD, who recommended that, did I guess notice it, talked about it first and told us first that it was Berg, the voice actor. And I did look it up and I was like, oh yeah, they're the same character. This is pretty dope. And now that's like a whole nother subplot to us doing uh anime hour. Now we're gonna see like connections of voice actors, which is kind of cool. I didn't even think about that because like there are only a couple of voice actors that do a lot of voices, and we're gonna see a lot more overlap like that. Smudge says, the manager is my favorite character. And Bozy says, happy anime hour. Happy anime hour to
Happy
you as well.
anime hour.
Um, I do want by the end, I would love to hear your favorite parts and your favorite characters for sure, Matt. But um Romero the dog. It's the cutest dog. Okay, I'm confused. First off, we get introduced to this dog, all these characters, and then the dog. To some people, I think when we're looking through Kotaro's eyes, the dog is the cutest little like bark,
Hmm.
bark, bark, whatever. And then when we look at it through the girl's eyes, it's like big and scary
Hmm.
sometimes. And I'm like, what does this dog really look like? 'Cause
And the show does that too with a couple other situations for sure,
oh,
where it's
true.
like,
Later on, like episode
mhm,
4.
episode 4, very, very much so, where it's like,
True.
things are drawn one way, and then it's kind of setting up perspective from somebody else, and it's like, but this is what they see.
Sub says the dog is the best character. It's pretty cute. So Zombie Land Saga is gonna make an idol group to save
Mhm.
Saga. So we figure out what
Yeah,
Saga is.
and we get
Uh
like, sorry, I just
no,
wanted
go.
to, we do Kotaro takes a moment to like introduce Sakura to like all the rest of the members before like they have gained consciousness. And so like they all have a number for their idol group. So going in numerical order, Sakura being number 1, and number 2 we have Saki, who he makes it a very big deal, gets in her face. Like, she's the legendary ex-biker gang leader. Then we have Ai, who used to be a legendary idol in the Heisei region. Junko, legendary idol in the Showa region. Yugiri, legendary courtesan at the turn of the century, back when like Edo period was a thing. We have Lily, a legendary child actress, and then we have Tai, who is legendary.
Why is
What
she
for? I told you she's legendary. I told you she's legendary. Isn't that enough?
she was like, I
Oh my
expected
goodness.
something a little bit longer. Why is she? Yeah.
I
Man,
absolutely just that, and that's again the show like where it's not trying to take itself super seriously.
yeah. It's so like those little really fast cuts, those they do it a lot. You don't see it in anime a lot. You see it in like comedy, maybe like YouTube skits if you watch those. But like this is so different and so jarring, but in a good way
Hmm.
because they do those like somebody's talking, but then it's like, oh no, like really quickly, like switch something, change something, and I'm like, that caught me off guard, but it's hilarious. So I find myself laughing a lot in this, which is really funny, and really fun. Bubs, you haven't watched it yet. Shelves watched it without you. Oh no. Oh brother. And welcome, CZ. I know you're late, but it's okay. I wasn't gonna say anything, but hi. So everybody wakes up because of um because of their awakening. What is this? What is this? What's this awakening? They got awoken by loud music, by loud death metal, by screams. They got shaken like they're who cares?
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's exactly. And not all of them do, you know. Ty is still throughout these 4 episodes, she remains unconscious, I think.
Yeah.
She's
And I think she'll
I think.
stay unconscious for the remainder, but she's getting the dance moves.
Yeah. Yeah, then yeah.
She gets the
She's
dance
she hits
going
the dance
forward.
moves. She's the one that like initiates screaming just as their act in the first episode.
Yeah.
And the crowd loves it. Absolutely loses their mind over this. They even say
Uh,
like because all the zombies they start headbanging, the crowd's like,
bro.
"Oh my god, it's like their necks are broken. How are they doing that?"
The slow-mo on the back, they were like, and then the neck like does that. I was like, oh, it's so good.
I felt it.
It's a mystery. Is she awake? Is this just how she was a human? Why is she the best character?
Why is
True.
she the best character indeed?
Let's go on to episode 2, I Heart Hip Hop Saga. Each episode ends with saga at the end. The first one was called Good Morning because they essentially woke up. And let's get into episode 2. What happened in I Heart Hip Hop? Some said, Smudge in the Discord said, a little cringe. Let's
In this
see.
episode.
Yeah, what about this episode?
So Kotaro attempts to now with the mostly conscious girls have them practice to prepare for their next upcoming performance and gives them like a rundown on the expectations he has for them. None of the girls, save for Sakura, really kind of believe in this concept and notion of having a bunch of zombies create an idol group. But regardless, he takes them to a Saga castle where they're supposed to be having a performance for the night. Sakura and Saki kind of get into a little bit of a scrap with each other, a little bit of an argument because, yeah, Saki being this ex biker gang leader, she's going to be probably very opinionated, very, very heavily spoken for in what she
Yeah.
believes in. And they kind of have a little bit of a back and forth that turns into a rap battle on stage. It's initiated because we see that Tai loses her head and Sakura is running around like trying to recover her head. She's like, "Oh, everybody look, it's a little magic trick." But yeah, Saki's like not having any of that business. The rap battle kind of goes off as everybody else joins in to like play an instrument. Kotaro's like beatboxing on the mic, and it eventually turns into a whole performance that the crowd becomes enthralled by. And after this, Saki gains new respect for Sakura for standing up to her and has faith that an idol group could be possible.
I think the downfall of Saga and its surrounding people is how stupid they all are. not that they
The
need
magic
like
trick.
Saga. Yeah, magic trick. We got her head, whatever. And they're like, oh, that looks so real. Bro, what? So we get some focus on some other some other characters, and we hear why Sakura really wants to go along with this because they were like questioning her, like, why are you the one that wants to do this? Like, what's going on? Like, you were the first one awakened. What don't we know? Which are some valid questions. And they kind of questioned her before as well. Like, how did this happen? And all that stuff later on.
She
But
just throws her hands up like, I know
yeah,
just as
I don't
much as
know.
you, honestly.
But she just felt really happy when she was on stage. And that kind of coincides with her being in love with idols as a human. Um, that she just like really liked it. And like you said, when she was on stage that first time, as many people do, they feel like that intoxicating, like, oh, this feels great. Like people are cheering for me. And like it's kind of how I feel when we go live. When we do this, people are watching. It's like, oh my God, it's so cool. I want to do this all the time. But she really likes that feeling. And I don't know if the other people do. I don't think the other people have that sort of connection as her. Um, which is interesting because some of them were past idols and we
Hmm.
see some resentment and
Hmm.
they don't want to do it. They don't want to go
This
along with it.
and eventually they do kind of explain their like it doesn't really completely flesh it out, but like they do get a chance to kind of like give a quick tidbit as to why they probably aren't interested in being in an idol group, because Kotaro introduced them as idols but never being particularly a part of a group.
Kaylee says also something that I don't think you mentioned. Sakura is the only one that doesn't remember her life as a human.
I missed
Um,
that.
I don't know if they do they remember their life, or is it just that Kotaro introduced them as that, so they're going along with it and they think they have to play that part. I mean, Kayla, you might know more than we do. I'm pretty sure you do. But like right now it feels like they do remember their lives. I don't know if I've like I think it was mentioned. Okay. So but like what does she do? We don't know anything about her. Kotaro didn't say anything about her. About Sakura,
Mhm.
like
No, yeah, he never he like he again, he introduces all the rest of them as these legendary figures, but he doesn't really say anything of note about Sakura. And I mean, that's to me, that's the this wasn't a manga beforehand, right? This was just straight to
I don't
anime.
know.
If it was a manga before, that's the mangaka's way of giving the audience a self-insert because we don't know a lot about her. So that
True.
could be anybody.
Yeah, that could be me becoming an idol. Bo, thank you for the gifted sub. Bo, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Blue, if you're here, make sure to thank Bo. Thank you for the gifted sub. Thank you for paying it forward. Yeah, the older woman talks about her past, I believe, but like, okay, the way let me explain it better, I think. That I the way that I'm thinking about it is that they're imprinting well, I may be thinking too much into it. I'm probably thinking too much into it because this is a silly, goofy manga or
Mhm.
anime where Kotaro told them who they were, and then they're imprinting memories, like pretend memories, to like try and fill in their backstory because they need something to connect to. That's my that's what I think, but like it's probably not it. It's probably just they have memories. She doesn't. Who cares? It's
I
probably that.
know that I know that Saki, right? Saki, I'm pretty sure makes a direct references to
Uh-huh.
being a biker and leading a gang in the past. And a couple of the idols mention that they've been idols in the past. The uh
I
Yugiri mentions she I don't think she directly mentions it, but a lot of her like verbiage and a lot of her like a lot of the things that she says comes across as though like she's from a different time. It's like,
yeah,
"Hey, yo, what do you mean by that?"
yeah, she does. She's my favorite. We haven't talked about as well that they are all from different times. Um, but they're all like decomposing at the same time. They're all like zombies and still form. Like how far who cares? It's a
Yeah,
zombie show. It's fun.
yeah.
They're all from different times and they're just like, yeah, sure. They're all together now. They had the name Death. I thought this was going to be more important, but they changed. I don't know. I was
They
really
keep
hooked on
changing
their
the name.
names.
Yeah.
Death Musume to Green Face. And I think this was a little cringe. I'll agree. Um, but they went into the whole rap scene flawlessly. It was I did not know what to expect there because they started arguing on stage, the whole magic trick, everything was going wrong, and I was like, "Oh no, oh no. How can they save this?" And then she starts, like, yelling at they start yelling at each other, and, like, it was kinda
It had
like to a
rhythm.
beat, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay." And then homie's like, in the back, bro.
King.
I loved that so much. What did you think about that
No,
and
yeah,
when they
honest
started rapping?
I will not even, yeah, hide my feelings. That episode 2 out of these 4 is my favorite episode, and it's because of how silly the rap battle is. I I'm I'm a YouTube kid that's been on the internet for a very long time, and it totally just like I had an instant flashback to like every video of epic rap battles of history that I've ever
Yep,
watched, because like
yep,
that's how it felt. They're literally just saying the silliest bars, but it's hitting so hard.
yeah, and the crowd was going, and, like, they were kinda rhyming, not really, but it was like, "Okay, it's cool," and, like, shout out to the voice actors on this show. Like, CZ, yes, we did talk about it, how Berg is here once again in Kotaro, in incarnation of Kotaro, but, man, shout out to the voice actors for making this so much fun. I really do think that this was, like, a passion project for them, that this was really I mean, of course, they got paid, but, like,
Mhm.
um, they didn't have to do this, like, I'm pretty sure these were high-profile voice actors, and they were just like, this is a fun time in the booth, man. This is
Yeah.
fun. Let's just get it going. It's so dope. The rap battle is so ridiculous, and I love it. Oh, and then yeah, Kaylee, are you watching the Japanese version? I'm assuming.
I am, yes.
Okay,
Every anime we've watched so far, and moving forward, I will watch in the Japanese
Black
versions. So
Clover. Yes, Black Clover is the only one I watch in English. But is anyone else watching it in English right now? Because Kaylee's watching it in English, and I appreciate that they left the rap battle in Japanese. They left the rap battle in Japanese.
good.
Oh, cool.
What about the
Uh,
guys that are like in the earlier in the episode we see like there's a couple girls who are like a little bit indecisive about the idol group, so they kind of like start to run away or whatever. And a bunch of like guys are like walking down the street and they see them like the backs of them, so they just see a bunch of like hair of like pretty girls, whatever. They're like,
oh,
hey,
that
yo, yo,
too.
yo, yo, and they just start like walking up to them and they're all rapping. And did that part get left in Japanese too? I'm
That
curious.
too, we'd even talk about that. Oh, Shubs is also watching in English. Dope. Um, yeah, that whole uh the rap part's also in Japanese. That's funny. Yeah, they do this whole thing. We see the same cop that recognize or the
Same
same
cop,
cop.
dude.
It's so silly.
This
It's just like
saga's got one cop, and he's not gonna make it to the end of the series with his sanity intact.
I I love like this is such like a sitcom where we see the same cop from the first episode that discovered her as a zombie. Like, you're a zombie, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm a zombie." And then now we see him again in episode 2, and he's just like, what don't I know you from somewhere? Don't I know you girls from somewhere?" It's so funny. He's the only cop and he is not having a good time. No, I think he's gonna be part of the idol group by the end. He's on his way to a very early retirement, sure. Episode 3. So they start rapping, they start doing all this stuff. They have their first outing, or yeah, I guess one of their first outings. Then we go into Dead or Alive Saga, episode 3. What happened in episode 3?
In episode 3, uh, so after the girls kind of have a meeting to basically like pick a leader of sort, and then also pick a new name. They have a long session. Yeah, another new name. They have a
Yeah.
long session of training. However, Sakura begins to become worried before she becomes worried about like the future of the group and stuff while she's taking a break before getting like thrown into the air off of this teeter totter thing. I forget what it's called. And uh, she recalls the feeling of the first performance that it gave her. Uh, However, I and Junko like completely begin to lose their enthusiasm, and as the next performance rears its head, they're kind of doing this like guerrilla performance where they're just going to show up out of place and do the thing, kind of like a what's the other word for that? Like a
Busking.
flash mob or
Oh, flash
whatever.
mob. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and but as the performance gets a little sketchy, lyrics are being forgotten, people are tripping over their feet. I and Junko come to the rescue to save their performance, and they end up with their probably third fan, because in the first episode we see these two
We have
metalheads
the
that
2
also
super
show up to their
fans.
second performance.
Yeah, the
So now we
super
got three
fans.
fans.
Yeah. Fan number 3 who is a little girl, and their mother just kind of whisks them
Yeah.
away. Something that was really funny that they spent,
Before the cop shows back up and is like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?
oh, and then, yeah,
You
homie
don't have
speeds in, he's like,
permits."
"Go, go, 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 go." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, one of the things that they spend quite a bit of time on, I don't know what it was, and I don't know why they did it. They all stop because they think they might be stinky. Um, when they were talking and they're like said something about them smelling bad, and they're like, "Are we stinky?" And then they all start, like, smelling each other, and they're like, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." They just start laughing again. What was that? Zombies smell bad,
Yeah,
but, like,
they're
why
they're
did they
they're rotting and decomposing, so
Yeah. I just thought that was like a really funny little spot, and they kind of bring it up in the next episode because that was their whole thing about the hot uh,
The
into
saunas or
episode
the
4,
hot
yeah, the hot
springs, yeah.
sauna stuff. Um, but Friend Shushu is the name of the is the new name of the idol because homegirl can't stop sneezing.
Achoo.
Yeah, this whole thing is just weird, and it's so I like how different all of these have been. All the anime that we've been watching, I like that we're still in the same medium, but
Yeah.
there's so many different stories to tell, and this is just a silly, goofy time. And it sometimes with silly, goofy time, I I'm like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like it, or sometimes I'm not in the mood,
Mhm.
but this is just enough to where like I'm getting some story. We're getting movement of story. So it's not just like, let's stay in this silly, goofy moment. It's like we're still trying to be idols to save Saga of a population that Kotaro doesn't know. He doesn't know how many
Yeah.
people are there. But
Everybody's like, "Why is Saga worth saving?" And he's like, "What do you
yeah.
mean? What do you know about Saga?" And they're like, "Well, nothing." And then they're like, "Well, what do you know about Saga?" And he's like, "Everything. Ask me anything."
Yeah.
Well, what's the population? Small.
It's so good. I don't know. I just really like it. Girls Can't Stink. It's illegal. True.
I think there like to go on what you were saying about the silly goofiness. I think there's a perfect balance that needs to be struck in order for the audience to still feel engaged with what's going on given the silliness. Like it has to have like a forward momentum of some
Mhm.
sort and not just feel like they're kind of treading the same ground over and over. And that's what I really like about these 4 episodes so far, at least, is that they feel very like diversified in what the shows and what the episodes like trying to get accomplished by the title crawl or by the credit crawl.
Yeah. They do their whole dance, they do their whole thing, and I don't know if anybody here has, like, busked or anything. Like, busking is the art of going and being on the street. You know, the people you see playing an instrument outside and have,
Oh,
like, a
okay.
little hat,
Hmm.
maybe? They have, like, a little hat, and, like, for some cities and some states, you have to buy a permit depending on because you can't just be outside doing that, but, like, here in Texas, or at least in my city, it's legal, so you can like, I've done it quite a bit where I'm just outside playing music and by myself or with somebody else doing, like it's mainly around Christmas, I've done that before where we just have, like, our cases open and then people put money in, and it's sometimes it's a little demoralizing because nobody stops sometimes, and we're just doing it, and we don't get a lot of money, but, like, that helped, and it was really cool to see them go through it because things happen, but, like, things were falling apart and they were getting sort of a crowd, and then some people started to leave when things were falling apart. Um, but yeah, I don't know, it was just cool to see. It was just
Yeah.
really cool to see that little moment there.
And that's I think that is just a way to show that like it's what they're trying to achieve is possible, but they still have a lot of work to put in before they can really nail it how they want to.
CZ says it kind of gives me the same sort of silly goofiness that the disastrous life of Psyche K
Have not
gives,
watched
and I
Psyche
live
K.
for it. CZ, that was too much silliness. I could not watch that. That was too much. I watched like 2 episodes and I couldn't get through it. I thought I would like it and I was like, this is no. So, but this right here is just enough. I can see where you're saying. It is very similar to those, but I could not get through that. I can get through this. It's a little different. Probably because they're like idol girls and they're really cool. Why, Matt, I have a question for you. Why did it switch to CG for their
Oh,
dance
for the performance.
for
I
their
yeah.
performance? What
I
was
mean,
that? It came out of nowhere.
it was jarring, but it did not look bad. I think it still looked really good, and I
No,
think it like the other performances, it's just on this one where it did that. The first 2 episodes, everything stayed, hand drawn, um, but here it hops into CG and they start having, like, a little bit of 3 dimensions to them as they're and I think it's to give them a bit more, like, life and a bit more a feeling of being animated, so to
sure.
speak, while they're doing all these, like, little dance moves and stuff.
It was an interesting move. That's all
Mhm,
I'm saying. I'm not hating on it.
mhm.
It just kinda, like, came out of nowhere,
It
and
was
then
jarring.
they
Yeah.
went back to regular. It's It's funny because like in action anime, they do that to like showcase the action sort of. And in this one, it was just the dance. And it was like they were moving and it like you were saying, the 3D. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I think they do it again in episode 4, right? In episode 4,
Yes.
they CG a little bit, give them more life. Yeah, because they're zombies. That's funny. Maybe it's like awakening, bringing them to life from 2D to 3D. They were being awoken on that last one. But um, yeah, they dance. They get one new fan. Their mom hurriedly rushes them out. The policeman. Ooh, chat, everybody here, everybody in the live chat, we need a name. Does he have an official name, the cop? We need to name the cop because I'm pretty sure he's going to be coming back quite often. So we need to name this cop friend that we find that will. Oh, I think he's going to become on their side. I think he's going to be on their side by the end, where he's like, they're trying to save Saga. We'll let them. They're zombies. Who knows what that Kotaro's doing, but they're saving Saga. He feels like a mark. I think his name is should be CZ. All right. The cop, his name is CZ. CZ the cop. Um Kotaro again, so much fun in this one. He's like, was it this one or the next? I think it's the next one. Okay, episode 4. Let's go on to episode 4. Warming Dead Saga, the last one that we watched. What happened in this one?
So in this episode, Kotaro explains to the girls that that they are basically broke. Their funds have dried up and they are now broke. He comes up with a way for them to make some extra money as well as hopefully secure like a position regularly performing somewhere. Uh Things transpire, and unfortunately by the end of the episode, after the girls' awesome performance, this executive who was to make the final decision on whether or not they are like signed on or whatever, sees a lot of the girls throughout the night without any of their makeup on, and a milk crisis of sorts ensues. And by the end of it, this executive ends up in like a fetal position,
Yeah.
and Kotaro is told like she can't remember anything from last night, so
Oh
sorry. And
no.
he's just like, what?
Yeah. Um So in this one, we get introduced to Sagan Ship Z, which is the that I like that they're getting that. Well, he attempted to get some sort of sponsorship or for them to play at their some sort of connection there. Kotaro's doing his job. He's doing his
He's
job
trying to be a
right as a
promoter.
promoter. He's
Yeah,
being a promoter. He talks about money and how
and he
does
gets them their gigs.
how does he get money? How does he get their money? He says like, y'all, I'm in the red. Y'all have been taking my money because gas isn't free. I got to drive the truck. I got to do all this stuff. What? How does he get the money? What is he doing? What does he do? From
How
where?
does he have this mansion?
A mansion.
I mean,
Um,
it looks like it's condemned or abandoned, but still, he just has this huge property that they're just chilling in.
Yeah. CZ said not wanting to ruin it, but credit name him simply as Policeman A. So then he deserves a name. We need to give him a name. There's a lot of bonding between the girls this episode, though. Yes, there was a
Yes.
ton. Don't worry about it. There was a ton of bonding with them. This was the episode where they're like, I really like. We don't know a whole lot. Like I said, it's not a psychopath. It's not a situational super backstory stuff, but from the little things we know, we can definitely differentiate them really quickly. And that's what I like about 12 episode shows. Like I told you, I would prefer a really short show over a long show because in short anime, usually they get to the point. They're like,
Mhm.
this guy's about this. Jules likes Final Fantasy 14. Let's go. Okay, cool. We know his persona a little bit. He plays Apex and he hates it. Cool. Okay, they go with like these little details, and we already found all these details in the first couple episodes, but now they're starting to grow together into this real idol group, and I love it. I
Mhm.
love their bonding in this episode.
And that's kind of that's excuse me, kind of the thing where by the end of the episode, that there's headlines in the news about a head being found in the hot springs or whatever. So they're kind of taking it with they're kind of a bit down on themselves for how things played out, but then it's not until Yugiri brings up that, hey, we all shared a moment when we were there soaking our feet, and I've never done that with anybody
with
else
anybody.
before. So that was special to me.
Yeah, that's
And then
so
it's
sweet.
kind of like, yeah, it's just a moment where you can see them coming together better as like a group, where up until this point, it kind of feels like a bunch of individuals that are kind of like bumping shoulders and like trying to just get through the next thing.
For sure. Another like uh interesting thing that I thought of when they were like this was like their shopping episode. This was like a shopping
Yep.
arc
Yep.
where they all go and
The
hang out
the
together.
second they like took off instead of going to practice, I was like, shopping episode,
Yeah, let's
beach
go.
episode, whatever you want to call it. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Um he was like, I'm gonna go sightseeing, and they're like, what do you mean I'm gonna go sightseeing? And at first I was like, what the fuck, this guy's sightseeing, what is he doing, what is he talking about? But we figured out what he's doing later. But them hanging out together and just like talking, and then they're them talking about how, they question Sakura again about how,
This all
like,
happened.
yeah, how do we become zombies? And they're like, how? Like, how you should know, like, you were awoken first. And he's like, I don't know how it is. But like they mentioned one thing, that bodies are cremated in Japan. So they're still bodies, but like I get it. I get that part because that's probably true. But them having bodies and they're zombies.
It makes sense because it's an island nation that doesn't have a lot of space for,
Yeah, but
burial
them
ground,
being
probably.
zombies
Yeah,
reborn, it's
yeah,
like, what? How does that make sense?
yeah. But again, hey, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? It doesn't
Honestly,
matter. No,
in the context of this show.
I'm definitely pointing it out, and they're
Yeah,
pointing it out too, which is
yeah,
part of the funny.
exactly.
It's part of the funny. They're like, wait, this should not make sense. This doesn't make sense. Yugiri saying that made me feel so. I'm like, I'm so happy for her having a chance to have a group of friends like this. Exactly. Gonna see them sigh. The way he talks.
Yeah, and we find out that he's just having lunch with the executive. Like, yeah, the
Of
girls are going to
Saga
be
and Ship
there.
Z.
It's going to be great. They're going to put on a great performance. They are practicing their hearts out right now as they walk by the window, practicing their hearts out
He
right now. And she starts to look over, and this moment, like, yeah, he just grabs her chin, and she blushes. And cutscene, cut away.
He's just like
He just
just
puts
like
on the
looking
charm
at
for a
her.
second,
When he grabbed her
looking.
chin, you just see the little, and she's like, ah. It's so funny.
In that one moment,
Oh,
Kotaro, maximum Riz, man.
big. Oh, forbidden
Rolled a
Riz
20
on
on
the
his charisma check.
Saga Ship Z executive. Man. Another part that I died laughing at, where like we were talking about earlier, how people see things totally differently. That whole ending scene where do we know the executive's name? Saga Ship Z
I don't
executive,
think
just gonna
she
call
gets
her
a
that.
name. Yeah.
Um when they were like not decomposing, but all their makeup was going off in the hot tub, in the hot spring, and then they were like, we should hold our breath and go underwater because we're zombies,
Makes
and
sense.
it makes sense. And they go one,
They
two,
still hold their breath.
yeah, and then Sakura on the third one, she does it and her head pops up. That I
Her
spit.
chin, she was too close to the rock, and her chin hit the rock in front of her, and her head
I
pops up and rolls forward.
That was the hardest I've laughed because that was so out of nowhere. I
Yeah.
was not expecting that. It was just like pop, and then I'm like, oh no! I
I don't
literally was
think
like, what?
I don't think up to this point she's had any. Everybody else has had like arms pop off, legs pop off. I think even somebody had their eyes pop out, but I don't
I
think.
think that was later,
Oh,
or
for
I
sure.
think that's later. Probably it was. I've
Gotcha.
seen the GIF though.
Um, or I think like somebody hits the ground and a set of eyes like fly
Sure,
upwards.
and legs and
So yeah, Sakura up to
arms.
this point like it hasn't been the one that's been getting dismembered.
It
But
was.
yeah, her head just like pops off after they plan to
Oh
go
my
under.
god!
The
It was.
executive finds the head and then the body. And they both jump the other two that were there, they jump up out of the water and all of the hot spring water starts just pouring out of their
Yeah.
mouths.
And, like, we haven't seen them as, like, grotesque zombies until now, where
Mhm.
just all the girls were roaming, and they just look gross to our eyes as humans or whatever, and,
And
yeah.
speaking of that for a second, like, just the fact that they are able to go from how they look as zombies to, their idle performing ready state, it's apparently Kotaro's just got, like, Hollywood movie magic
Yeah,
makeup skills and just does them up every single time they need
and they
to,
look great.
their character designs are so cool. They're all super
Yeah.
distinct, and they all look like their personality. You can look
Mhm.
at them at a glance and get an idea of what this character is about before they've even said anything.
Super great. Yeah. He's just really good at makeup, and we've seen a couple scenes where he's, like, applying the makeup.
Mhm.
So, whatever. He's a man of many talents.
And it does also play into the first episode where I didn't realize it until I went back to watch it that, he mentions to Sakura that, like, he did her makeup up the first time for her to be conscious when she reawoke as a zombie, but she ran off into the night,
Into the
into
Rain
the rain where it all washed off, and that's why she could then see her reflection. Didn't catch that the first time. I just thought she was imagining herself
as
as waking up
human.
normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
subtle, but I like it.
Very cool. It was really funny as well that they were, um, they were using the Saganship pads on each other, and they were feeling the relief
And then it shows, like, a
every
huge
single time.
disclaimer pops up on the screen. "Hey, if you do this in real life, you're applying medication. Do not repeat what you're saying
Yeah, do
here."
not, these are zombies, and it says
Yeah,
specifically, "These are zombies, and do not replicate this on humans."
yeah.
And they're like, "Poof." It's like, like feeling the medication of it. It was just so funny.
The
Um,
only other time I've seen so far, I've seen an anime do that, like an actual disclaimer, is with, Doctor Stone when certain experiments are happening, and they're just like, "Hey,
True.
don't
Yeah.
do this at home. This is how you actually create explosives,"
They were
and stuff like that.
yes, in the first season, in Doctor Stone, they were like, "Here's our plan to make this explosive thing." It's like, "Please do not do this. This is real," or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, "Wait,
I just
what?
love that. The
Hold on,
little
huh?"
they're paying respect to that, and I love it.
Doctor Stone is
People
telling
can be
showing me how to do this.
impressionable.
Yeah, they're showing me how to do, hold on, let me write this down really quick. Yeah, so I definitely remember that. Also, Matt has been turning into a zombie this entire
Ye
episode, if you haven't noticed. Um, yeah, so
Oh, no, my
how do
makeup's
you
coming
feel?
off.
My yeah, Matt's makeup's coming off. Don't put him into the rain. How do you feel so far? Because I was really excited to talk to you about this, and we're coming close to the end. We finished these first 4 episodes. How do you feel about this so far?
Yeah, like,
And, do you I'm gonna say it, I don't think you would have picked this up
no.
without having to watch it.
That's what I mean. At
And
a glance, this isn't something that I would watch. It's not something that I would have on my radar. I'd be, like, going through all of, like, my recommendeds or whatever in Crunchyroll and just like, "Oh, whatever, whatever, whatever," because I'm at a disposition to just be more, intrigued in, like, battle shonen stuff because that's what I, like, grew up watching,
sure.
and that's why I really liked where, we got to start this off with Black Clover being one of my, like, favorite battle shonens as it
Yeah.
goes on, but then we started to, like, dive into, Gotchaman Crowds and Psychopaths and just these, different animes that just are very tonally distinct, and like you said, we're still in the same medium, but it feels like it's something completely different, and I
Yeah.
would definitely, like, classify this more as, like, yeah, like, as a comedy almost
Comedy for sure.
with some horror tones,
Yeah.
and that's not to say that it is scary, but they use some notes, like, Kaylee said, they use some notes from horror in order to subvert expectations, and that's what I think sets up the best laughs in the show.
Like a less gruesome, more comedic, like Shaun of the Dead style,
Yeah,
anime sort of. But yeah, I mean,
it's a little
same.
bit morbid, but it's still lighthearted.
Yeah. I don't even, well, we'll find out by the end, but I don't even feel like the morbidity. They are zombies. They're
when
technically
when when
dead.
I say certain things out loud, it
Sure,
feels that way. Oh yeah,
sure.
she's on her way to school. She gets hit by a car.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
True.
they're
Yeah.
they're all zombies. Their arms are popping off. They're getting dismembered.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Their head
cop found
fell
out
off.
they're a zombie. He shot her in the head.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, it's lighthearted in the context of the
Well,
show,
when you say it
which
like
makes it
that
funny.
with your
Yes.
words, when you say it out loud, um, but yeah, I mean, same because I would not have picked up Black Clover, and for the same reason, we're like, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. It was good. It was fun. It was a dope experience, and glad we got to do it. But now it's like, this is something that I've been wanting to watch, and now it's like, here we are. We're all watching it together. And it's super dope. So before we finish, I do want to ask who your favorite character so far, and if anybody's here watching in the live chat or on YouTube, or on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're watching this podcast, or on Twitter as well. Um, who is your favorite character so far? And I definitely want to see if it changes by the end
Mhm.
because this is our first time talking about this one. But who is your favorite character right
My
now?
favorite character is definitely Saki, the ex-biker gang leader.
Oh,
I love how in your face she is. I like how like just yeah, how forwardly opinionated she is and how it took like a direct confrontation with somebody else in order to sell her on the concept because yeah, if nobody's gonna step up to like her level, of course she's not going to be sold on the concept. And I just
yeah.
episode 2 is my favorite episode, so it just all adds up for at least this set of episodes that she would be my favorite character so far. And who would you call as your favorite character?
Um, I was gonna say Saki as well. Didn't she punch somebody in this episode, or did she slap somebody?
She's the one that starts slapping the patches onto everybody, but I
She
don't.
does. I think
Somebody
she
gets slapped.
s- somebody gets slapped.
Yugiri slaps Sakura in the 3rd episode, I believe, because she's like, it's as Sakura is like getting all down on herself and she's getting ready to tell everybody like, hey, we just need to go back and practice. Boom, she gets slapped.
Oh, okay. I
Hey,
thought that
what are
was
you doing?
Saki.
We need to get in there and practice more.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Honestly, for right now, I agree with you. I think Saki is one of my favorites for sure. I was gonna say Saki because she's one of the more fleshed out ones, and I'm pretty sure it's going to change because we still need some backstory. We still need some character growth from the other ones. It just
Mhm.
seems like she got some shine on these first 4 episodes, and of course
Yeah,
Sakura,
but she's number
and
2, so it makes
she's
sense.
so it's gonna go down. Oh my
Probably,
god.
maybe. 'Cause that yeah,
uh
then number 3 and number 4 are the 2 legendary idols, and in episode 3, that's where we saw them be hesitant, but then jump in to save the day.
yeah.
Uh,
Um but
yeah.
Kotaro is so funny. Shelf says Romero,
He carries a
Kai
lot of the
Yamada.
comedic tone of the show.
I am just really glad that the Japanese voice actor, it just feels like he's having fun. It feels like
Mhm.
they just left, and I can't stress it enough that when that uh like even like in music and like stuff like that, I read music and like video games and stuff, whenever they're enjoying their work, it just feels different. Whenever you're having fun making music together as a group, it just feels different to the audience. And like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody else is picking up on it, but Kotaro's voice actor, I feel like he's just having a great time and he's just doing whatever. And that's kind of how it perceives and it bleeds into the character. It bleeds into this really charismatic character that just feels over the top, insane leader of this saga idol group, friend Choo Choo, and he's carrying the show, and it's
Mhm.
really cool, and I really enjoy it. So hats off to Berg there.
I agree. Yeah, quick reiterate, Saki being my favorite character, but also Kotaro just
Yeah,
if so if somebody else was voicing that character, different character. He's not the same.
for sure,
Yeah, and
totally.
that's something that you can that's a very huge compliment to the voice actor in the booth for sure.
Mhm.
Um, what would be like your throughout these couple episodes? Has anything reared its head where you're just like, oh, that means this is gonna happen? Like, what do you have any predictions about
I have
where things are gonna
no,
be?
I have honestly, I cannot. I honestly, from episode 1 to episode 2, I think it was the battle rap that where once that started happening and it came out of nowhere, it snuck up on me specifically because they started like argue. I was like, where is this going? They started arguing, and then there was a beat behind it. I was like, "Oh my god." And like I at that point, I think I gave up on trying to predict anything, and I gave up like I have no clue with this anime. This is great. So I don't know how this is going to end. I don't know where this is going to go. Um I don't even think they're going to get found out. They might get found out, but like who cares? You know what I mean? Like what's going to happen? Um I guess if we can go with like predictions, I think they're gonna turn on Kotaro for some reason. I think that he's been presented as a main good guy because he's gonna eventually turn or something like that. And I think the voice actor has that capability
Yeah.
to make this super lovable character, and then the girls band together, and then they're like, okay, he's gone too far. He brought us back, but like we got to go against him for some reason. They've been showcasing him too much, and sometimes in shows like this, it's like who's the bad guy? Who's going to be the
Mhm.
bad guy?
Yep. 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 Yep.
They haven't showed up yet, and it's already super late. It's like, well, you know nobody better than one of the main good guys, so they're going to turn. So I think that's what it's going to follow, and I really hope not, but that's my prediction. I think
He
that they're going to have to
continues
turn
he
on him.
continues to talk about saving Saga, and there's one bit in between like one bit in between scenes where it shows a map of Japan and it points out Saga, and it's this super south western region of Japan. Um and it's just like what does Saga need saving from exactly?
I don't know.
That's where I'm at right now. So
CZ
I don't know
says,
if like there's gonna I feel like there's gonna be some sort of a big shakeup
sure.
where, yeah, like you said, and it could be that with that character. There could be another character introduced, or who knows still what's up with Tai. She's still unconscious? Question mark.
She's the bad
Um,
guy. I don't know.
so I definitely feel like it's gonna be some big shakeup where they all have to, yeah, kind of get together and decide, hey, this is going to be the best for saving Saga
Yeah.
or whatnot. But
Turns out
it
the
might
whole
not.
town is zombies and no
Yep.
one knew,
But
maybe.
I feel like it might end up with their identities being revealed. I think that's going to be the
Oh,
thing. I
true.
think whatever the shakeup is going to put their identities at risk.
Smudge says Kotaro gets arrested for grave robbing and mutilation of corpses. We find out that Kotaro is trying to save Saga from himself. Interesting. Ty wakes up. Kaylee says Ty wakes up and plots as she was a serial killer as a human.
A
Maybe
legendary serial killer.
legendary
Makes
serial
sense.
killer. We would love to know your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us this week, because Zombie Land Saga has been so much fun to watch. And if you want to join in on this anime club on Jules and Matt Anime Hour, watch episode 5 through 8. 5, 6, 7, 8.
5,
Music,
6,
come
7, 8.
on. Watch episode 5 through 8 of Zombie Land Saga. This has been so much fun. I'm glad so many people are watching it. We haven't watched it. Me or Matt haven't watched it. All these predictions are from our own brains. Maybe we'll psychically predict another Psychopaths thing because we predicted Psychopaths before on the last arc. So we are on our Zombieland Saga arc. If you'd like to join episode 5 through 8, thank you so much for watching on wherever you're watching. Thank you just so much to everybody watching it live on twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman. Shout out to Matt Galley, my co-host. Matt, where can they find you on the internet?
On all socials, you can find me at it's Matt_Galley on my Twitter, on my Instagram, and then you can also find me on Twitch at Matt_Galley.
I heard Matt Galley is streaming today, so I'm saying it on the stream so he can be held accountable if he doesn't. It's because I want to watch. Um, I'm Jules the Human, Jules the Human on social media. You can find me wherever, I don't know, on the internet. Google me. Probably watching it on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jules the Human, or on my Twitch channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you watch episode 5 through 8. And again, if you want to suggest an anime, you got to watch the show live. So if you're watching it later on, shout out to everybody watching the VOD or the YouTube videos and all that, but or on Spotify. We're on
Mhm.
Spotify. You can watch it on
We're on all the
Spotify
things.
or Apple. But you got to watch it live. Give us 500 bits and suggest some anime. So we have some good ones. And I'm going to say here now, since my pick got picked this week, Matt gets to add one. Let's do that. Matt gets to add an anime this week. If we don't get any more additions, Matt's going to add it for the next arc.
And I
To
forgot the
grab
other
on.
one that I already have in there. Or did I not have one in there because Black Clover was mine? No, yeah, I'll be adding. No, I added Mob Psycho. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You added Mob Psycho. These are the ones that we can pick from.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's what's on the table. And I already know what I'm going to add, but I'll add it when we pull the next one.
Oh no, we
Add it
gotta
there,
wait 2
right at the end.
weeks. All right. Watch episode 5 through 8 of Zombie Land Saga. This has been the Jules and Matt Anime Hour, and we'll see you next week.
Until next week.
5, 6, 7, 8.